posed an interesting question though before the break because I had mentioned Chicago. Like I said, good for Chicago. It looks like they're going to pull through this thing, make the play, and they're going to probably finish below 500, but they're going to make the play in. At the 10th spot, they could move up a little bit depending on what happens over the course of the next couple of days, but I feel like I said I had felt like this was a little bit more indicative. This Chicago Bulls record is a little bit more indicative of who they are than last year's was. And right as we're going to commercial, you said, well, what if that's the Kings next year? And I started to think about it, and we had I think it was a Zach Lowe stat that it was 21 and 24 was their record against teams above 500. I don't know what Chicago's was last year. It felt like Chicago couldn't beat a team that was above 500. And I think the actual stat was Chicago couldn't beat a team that was in front of them in the standings. Maybe I'm too close. Maybe we're too close. This Sacramento team doesn't feel like last year's Chicago team.
It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Not to me.
I never thought that Chicago team was the beginning of something.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not as close, and I understand Lonzo Ball being out all year and how tough that is for them. But man, I didn't see that in them this year. If you're a partial NBA observer, do you really think that this Sacramento team is a one and done? They're the Minnesota Timberwolves of a couple of years ago.
And that's one thing I will say about maybe national guys or people who follow it on a not just a Sacramento scale. A lot of people have been like complimentary in that respect of this is the start. They never look at it as like, oh, it's just flash in the pan or anything like that. They're like, no, they got a young group, which they sneaky do. They're not baby. It's not the baby Kings, but
Super
like these
teams
guys,
is young?
They're a little older than that.
Okay. I'm just trying to zero in.
They're a little older than that, but they're not. They're all entering their prime. When you talk about 24, 25, things of that nature, they're all entering their prime. I like to deem prime as like 25 to 30 or so. They're entering that. So I would classify them as a young team. That I think is on the rise. I think they're only going to get better. I don't see them being a Chicago-like team. Chicago did it with a team that was not on the rise. They were not young. They were kind of, I want to say on the downhill, but they had plateaued, about to look over the edge of later in their career. Big Vucevic.
I'd press the button if I thought I could find it quick enough, but
I
there's no way I will.
I feel like he might be sneaky young. Like I think
Big Vucevic.
Got it. Thanks, Perk.
I think he might be around like Harrison Barnes. Like he feels like he's older, but I think he's probably like 28, 29. Zach LaVine's probably 29 or so. We all know DeMar DeRozan's in his.
Zach LaVine sign an extension? Did he just sign one? Or is he due for one?
He might. I don't know, because I remember I said I'd like to have him here in Sacramento. I feel like he might have signed an extension. I don't know.
Yeah, he's in the beginning of an extension right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Vucevic is going to be 33 at the end of the year.
Damn,
33?
He's older, way older than I thought. Wow.
We really do mistreat Harrison Barnes. We talk about that man like he's 35 years old. Let's get Manny in here real quick. He could talk about the Kings. He could talk about Chicago as well. 916-909-1320. What's up, Manny?
What's up, fellas? Yeah, y'all don't have to worry about being them. They had a 2-year window. They got the most they were going to get out of DeMar last year. You knew that was kind of a peak thing. He had a phenomenal year. But with Ball being gone, I think they took their shot. I think with Ball, they could have made a big difference. But at this point, they should have sold those pieces before the trade deadline. This play-in stuff, man, that's not good, man. I think you guys are built. As long as everybody stays healthy, God willing, and, you tweak a little things here and there, pick up a player here and there, I firmly believe you guys have a good 5 to 6 year window of contending. That's just me personally. I think there's get a couple more pieces, and I definitely think next year it's championship level. Like you guys have I'm not saying it can't happen this year, but I think this is a learning year. I think this is definitely a championship building team.
Okay. Appreciate you.
I like that.
Appreciate you, Manny. I know, Manny kind of poo-pooed the play-in. We talk, and Billy Donovan's probably coaching for his job. So this play-in could go a long way. You win a couple of playing games and you're in the playoffs. I know the play-in doesn't feel like maybe in the moment, especially with Chicago being a better team last year, seemingly being a better team last year, it might not feel like the play-in is a great thing. You win a couple of games, you're in the playoffs. It's just you got to go win a couple of more games.